didn't change anything. It just told me improper stream key, and I accidentally hit start stream, and now it started streaming. You lied to me, program. If this is streaming, it literally told me I had the incorrect stream key when I did not.
Well, let's find out if it's streaming.
Oh, there we go. It's
We will
streaming.
see in
You
like 2 minutes.
lied to me.
You lied to me.
Lied?
You lied to me. I think we're
Lied
live
to
now.
me.
Because I heard myself talking.
Hi everyone, we're back.
And boy,
Yeah,
are
sorry
we
about that.
pissed.
No, don't.
Wait,
So
what? We are?
unfortunately, Piph lost his power where he lives due to an outage, not because he doesn't pay his bills. Don't worry about that. But since we didn't want to end this session with me just being mid-sentence, we're going to just continue on for a little while, but we won't get too far. So, this is Patrick's hometown. We want to be able to do some more interactions. So let me continue where I was going off, and we're going to go into a more narrative space, okay? So, as mentioned before, the two other ex-slave NPCs are going to be resting down in the 4th level, while you guys are resting in the 2nd level, where Patrick's old room was. And some cots are brought in, and you guys rest the night. And when you wake up in the morning, you're given a fine meal. And my question to you is that I was thinking that maybe Patrick would give you just a small little tour around the town, kind of let you know what's around, because nothing's really marked. I don't know if you're interested in that. Tom, you mentioned that you might want to get a little something for Blank, so I can kind of give you an idea of kind of what is sold and traded here in Lacree, and wrap that stuff up if that works for you guys.
That sounds good to me.
Great. Okay, so you'll have to have me. I'll have to think a little bit about that, but I'll get you an answer. But let's just start with the small tour of Lacree itself, all right? Because I mentioned what a lot of the abodes and the businesses look like, what with being built directly into the pile itself, more specifically down deeper in. But you will also notice a fishery. And what's interesting about that is that it's on the far end, and it kind of descends a much gentler slope towards the ocean. And towards that gentle slope, there is what appears to be a fishery there. And it appears that they actually raise and breed fish for their own consumption. And it's almost completely automated in a sense of a way. There are a few people who work there to make sure everything's fine or to maintain the structures, but it looks like a custom robotic series of units, feed the fish, harvest the fish, and pool the fish as well. So that's a little interesting. What also you might notice is that around that same area is a very, very intricate water purification system that they have, where they get all their fresh water from, which is definitely not a problem. Touring around this place, you notice that these are very, very resourceful people, and almost everybody knows how to tinker or to improve upon something in some way. There are some people who are specialists. You tell when spending some time with Patrick's parents, you know that they're very keen into the electronics, right? But there are those who are very good with robotics, with welding, with vehicle repair, the whole shebang. And as you're traveling, as Patrick is continuing on with this tour, taking you to see the local doctor, because I'm sure perhaps Al would be interested in something like that, at least meet someone else or see what he might have as far as medical supplies go. Is that a fair assumption?
Indeed.
Okay. And on your way there, to this doctor's place, let me just double check my notes here. Yeah, his name is Reese Kennedy. That's right. On your way to Mr. Kennedy or Dr. Kennedy's office or home. Mila, you are instantly and suddenly struck by a huge psychic impression. It floods your mind suddenly and without warning, and it is reminiscent of premonitions that you get before, but this is far, far stronger and focused, if that makes sense.
Did Piph just show up?
Oh, did he?
So,
Piph?
I think Piph just showed up.
Oh my God, Piph just showed up.
That
Oh
was
my
the
God.
premonition? Piph showed up?
That was what you got. That was the image.
Hello.
Piph, you're here. So, sorry, welcome back. I'm so glad you're here. Is it okay if I just catch you up on the little small tiny things that you missed?
If you would, please.
Okay, so we really just slipped into a more narrative state, and I hope everything is okay so far. But pretty much you had a good rest. You were fed in the morning, and then I decided that maybe Patrick would give the party a little tour around Lacree. Right, so I had them show off a few. I haven't gotten to the businesses just yet. I was just about to, but I showed off the fishery that they have, the water purification system, and then on the way to visit the doctor to make some introductions, Mila was just actually struck by, for lack of a better word, some sort of huge psychic premonition, and I was just about to throw it off to her when you showed up. So welcome back. And is there anything you wanted to say or roleplay right now, Criana? Or
Before the premonition hits,
I
I would say like Nora still in control, just walking normally, and then suddenly she sort of stops, and it looks like her head got knocked back all of a sudden, and she falls forward, and I think that's when it would hit her.
Okay. So, we've prepared a little something, a little fun. I put a link in both our Skype chat and the group chat here. It's just a little YouTube thing. You know how I like to do audio stuff from time to time. And when everyone's ready, we can press play on that sucker. Don't all of you talk at once.
I'm ready.
Okay. I'm also ready.
Hang on, let me make sure that I'm recording.
Oh,
Okay.
good.
Okay, we're good.
Okay, good. I'm good as well.
All right, why don't you count us down, Piph, who's come back from the dead?
3, 2, 1, go.
7 dangers greet the earth, bravely met or suffered dearth. 4 trials shall face humanity: pain, torment, calamity. The first arrives by cobalt fire, devouring madness, death, and ire. Castle green, man machines, allies found in enemies. Every speck must break and rend before the swarm comes to an end. The second foe will stomachs rack, blazing sun, earth red and crack. The third a brother born by disease, cough and choke and gasp and wheeze. Born in ash and crimson gore, the fourth will be the son of war. The fifth has hands of ice and bleak. Warm hearts is what it craves and seeks. And once it finds its grasp and holds, our planet's deathly fate unfolds. Continent dark is their birthplace. Gathering heroes must find the space to which 4 demons be struck down. If they unite, we all shall drown. The 6th is old like candle glow, burn slow and strong its power grow. A shining kingdom it shall reclaim. Wearing masks it plays its game, protected by the bold and brave. And, with time, earth be its slave. Darkest pit, deepest mine, the final danger will align. In great darkness comes a dirge, of havoc chaos shall emerge. consuming all in a frantic glee. Our victory I cannot foresee. 7 dangers greet the earth. Bravely met or suffered death. 4 trials shall face humanity. Pain, torment, calamity.
And after such words are emitted from Mila, once again I'll throw it to you to do any sort of roleplay you wanted to do there, Criana face.
I think more or less Nora is just in shock right now, and her whole body is just shaking.
I think, especially given the possession things we've just gone through, Al is going to be incredibly worried. He's going to immediately go up to Nora and kind of like hold her by the arms. Well, here's a question: shaking, as in like very visibly trembling, or very slight trembling?
I would say you wouldn't be able to see it, but like if you grabbed her arm, you could feel it definitely.
Got it. So you're not seizuring or anything. You're
No,
okay.
no.
It's a tremors.
Yeah.
Al would say, like, grab her by the arms and be like, gently, and he'd be like, Nora?
What the hell?
Nora, you were just saying some very scary things. Are you aware of what you said?
Oh, I've. Hang on, give me a moment.
Here, sit down.
She'll not argue with you, and she'll sit down and shake her head and look up at you.
A small collection of other citizens from Lacree are kind of gathering on because this happened right in the middle of the road, a pedestrian road, while you were traveling. And you have some silent, curious observers watching your next moves.
That wasn't a normal vision. Something's gonna happen.
It sounded like someone was talking to us, or I don't know. Did it
It was
feel like...
talking to the world. It wasn't. It's not just us. It's everywhere.
Well, that's not good.
Nora will kind of look at Al and then look towards the others, trying to gauge their expressions.
Patrick looks like he's staring off towards the horizon with squinted eyes, and he's like, it looks like he's in thought, but like in a thought of something like doesn't quite make sense to him.
And Tom is kind of looking down, and his eyes are wide, and it looks like he's trying to process this while also possibly freaking out internally.
Possibly.
Yeah.
You hear a one voice, a small voice in the crowd say, "Did she say that's happening to everyone?"
Nora will glance up, and then notice the crowd, and then visibly just like completely stiffen. Like she's no longer shaking, but she is just like her head like turns to Al, and she's giving this look of "Let's get out of here."
Al would understand that look, I think, and say, Come on. Why don't you go lay down for a bit?
Go lay down. No. She stops again, looking around at the
Yeah,
people.
He says, like, not here. Go
She'll
lay down,
nod and-
not here.
She'll nod and get up. And I guess try. And head
You'll hear a
back.
voice in the crowd say, "Shouldn't they take her to a doctor? Is she having an episode? We got something to worry about?"
Al will raise his hands and say, I am a doctor. I will take care of her.
A few individuals well known to you, Patrick, those who are a little bit more closer during your upbringing or whatnot, they address you as well. They take you aside if you let them.
Yes.
Okay. And then as Patrick and Al and Tom move back, I'm assuming going back to Holly and Victor's place, right? Patrick's parents? Or are you going to take him someplace else? Or are you going to go somewhere else?
I think
No,
that'd
no.
be the
I think that's
ideal.
the only place we really know, so yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. So as you guys go there, the people who are talking with Patrick, it's 3 individuals, 2 men and a woman, all of another generation older than him. And they say, "What's wrong with your friend? What just happened there?"
I'm not quite sure if anybody knows at this point, but if taken at face value, it looks like someone is trying to give a message to the world.
But that wasn't much of a message. She was talking about death and destruction and everything like that. Maybe she's sick, Maybe there's something wrong with her.
Patrick will give a slight frown at that and go,
Mm-hmm.
She has similar, smaller premonitions that has never steered us wrong.
I'm saying she's a seer. She can see the future?
That could be, but I'm not quite sure if she can do it at will. I don't really know that side of her too well, and Patrick actually
Okay.
looks slightly more concerned.
And they'll see that, and the woman, she voices up. She goes, "Okay, well, you're one of us, Patrick. So if you need any help with anything, or if anything goes out of your control, or you or Vic or Holly, you just let us know. Okay, we'll stand with you. We'll help you out."
Yes. Thank you. I must see to my friends. Thank you for your concern. And Patrick will give a short bow and scamper off.
Okay. You'll be able to catch up with them as they enter your parents' home and go back to the same cots and bed that was used to that you guys spent the night on. And once assembled, what would you guys like to do?
I think on the way back, Nora would just be repeating the second, I guess, phrase about
Phrase?
The second group of, I don't know how you word it. She would just be
Stanza?
talking, yeah, there we go. That's the word. She'd be repeating
Stanza.
the second stanza over and over again, trying to
Okay.
not really listening too much to what she said, but just repeating it out loud.
Okay. And for those of you on the reference, I'll repeat it once for you guys if that's okay by you. And also as a reference for the video that I just linked to you, Criana wrote down the entire thing, everything that was said in the video, in the description there, so you guys can later on refer to it if you like. And I'll probably also post this on Rifty Felt too for people who want to listen. But so it's the stanza that starts with the first, right?
Yes.
The first okay, so the one that she's repeating over herself again
Yeah.
is the first arrives by cobalt fire, devouring madness, death, and ire. Castles green, man machines, allies found and enemies. Every speck must break and rend before the swarm comes to an end. I guess you could have said that too, so my bad.
That's okay. You're just
Bad Inferno.
Nora just got a very masculine voice.
Oh, I'm the worst. Okay.
And I guess she will lay down on the bed, and then sit up, and then lay back down, and then sit up and cross her legs and frown, crossing her arms.
Okay.
Well, she looks up at everyone else.
Al's like, I don't know what to make of that. As Patrick said, your visions have never really steered us wrong before, but, I mean,
But
if what you
Al,
say is true...
Al, you don't understand. It's different. Like, with a vision, I get more of a hunch, and, like, sometimes I see things, but nothing like this has ever happened before.
Are you 100% confident it was someone else sending you a message?
I don't know. To say specifics, no. I mean, but it's big and it will happen. This devourer or whatever it is, it's gonna happen, and it's gonna happen soon.
I see.
Would you say that it wasn't spoken to you or at you or through you, but generally like a large voice that was more just saying it to the world than just to you?
She will nod at Patrick.
Other ones like you, Nora, and others most likely have said this throughout the land. This is something that is giving either a warning or it's too large an event for people who can see into the future to not notice, or whatever this case may be. It looks like it's not us only who knows this information at this point.
The only way I can describe it is like I overheard something, or like I tuned into something and I managed to get that sort of glimpse.
Al thinks about it, says, I'm not so sure it was accidental. It sounded like a call to arms. The things you said, we have to stand against it or stand together. And it sounded like it was someone trying to gather a force to fight whatever this is.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was.
Well, not entirely sure all of this is from the future, because a few of these things we've already faced. Or
No,
I guess
we haven't faced any of this.
Castle's green, that's Green Castle, and man machines, unless you think they're going to attack Green Castle.
This is something that's coming, not something that's happened, and I don't know.
Fantastic.
Well, if you just heard something accidentally, I would think maybe it's powerful enough that others would have heard it too. Maybe there's someone else who could make more sense of this.
Yeah, but like who?
Al,
I know someone, but I'm not going to say.
I can think of a few people we could ask.
Yeah.
I can think of maybe two, one of which is really close to us.
I can think of one. Al said,
Who?
well, Morin was always very sensitive to such things.
Perhaps. I was thinking possibly more along the lines of Elok, if we could find him.
But he's never shown any psychic tendencies.
What about Lee?
Yeah,
Possible
Lee
too.
as well.
Yeah. It just depends, I guess, if this is a magical thing or a psychic thing. If it was magical, though, why wouldn't Piph or I notice it?
Piph?
I'm sorry. Patrick or I. I'm a little drugged.
Piph trick.
Why wouldn't Patrick or I notice it? I mean, if Lee caught it, I would like to think we would notice something too.
It's true.
Al said, what about Pamela?
Maybe?
She was always very powerful when it came to psychic abilities.
Who do we have that we can get in contact to right away?
Well, of course, Tyrath. If it was large enough, I believe he would at least have felt it. If he was in this area, of course.
We do have the magic pigeon, just like the GM said.
I'm sorry.
Yes, I do know that we have the magic pigeon.
Magic pigeon.
Al
It
would,
costs so much PPE.
Al would say, because I was thinking the exact same thing too, but Al doesn't know much about it. He'd be like, Patrick, the pigeon, can it receive messages back to you or simply one way?
Once it is delivered its message, it disappears.
So it wouldn't be much help to us, unless there's a way for them to get to us.
Or if the GM suggests it makes sense, if Lee taught you how to do Magic Pigeon, right? So if you do it to a spellcaster who knows Magic Pigeon, they'd be able to reply with its own Magic Pigeon, right?
But it costs so much PPE. No.
I know.
The fate of the world!
PPE!
Also-
but I might need to cast a magical lightning bolt, though.
Okay. I can cast
Lightning
Carpet of
exorcism
Adhesion.
spell.
Will this help us in any way?
Damn it.
So, yes. Oh, wait, hold on, let me check. Fuck, okay, so I just need to reopen my sheet because I just realized that all my windows closed because my computer shut down. Give me a
That'll
second.
do it.
Yeah, so Al would say, I mean, maybe if Lee and Pamela are still near each other. I don't know. I don't know what to make of any of this. If what Nora, sorry, he says, nodding to Nora.
She shrugs. She doesn't really care what you call her at this point.
If she is right and I trust her feelings, then a lot of people are going to be suffering soon.
Anything you need from me, or are you guys still mulling things over?
I think Nora's just still thinking about it and then just getting confused and then getting thinking about it again and then just kind of an endless spiral at this point for her.
Gotcha.
I think,
Gotcha.
I guess Al would. Is Patrick's parents there?
No.
Okay.
But I can make them there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just for the sake of convenience, so you didn't have a bunch of NPCs butting into your private conversation. But they would be one level below you to talk with. Yes.
Al would say, well, maybe first things first. Perhaps we should ask if there's anyone else in town that might be sensitive to such things and have gotten the message as well.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Stay here. Get some rest. I'll ask Patrick's parents.
Okay. I'm assuming you do so. Oh, sorry. You'd find them downstairs. They're working away.
Al would kind of shyly, not wanting to disturb him too much, go, Mr. and Mrs. Patrick?
Kinsman, and just call me Holly, his mother says.
Holly, is there anyone in town that is psychically sensitive?
Well, yeah, we have one of the, there's Jade Santana. She's, what do you call it? Don't like to use the term that the coalition always used to call them. A dog person. I just call her Jade, but she's known to have some psychic abilities, and she's been here for about 7 years now or so.
Al's eyes get very wide when she says dog person.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, right, well, I was only asking because our friend is psychically sensitive, and she heard a message that we think might have been sent to a lot of people, and the things it says are quite worrying, and we're wondering if there's maybe someone else who heard it that could make more sense of it.
They furrow the brow. They sound concerned at this. And they say, well, that's the only person we can really think of. We do have transients, no, not transients, sorry. But we do have people that come in here and just stay for a small period of time. A mobile population. But no, Jade's the only one. And they look to each other, I think, and they say, no, she's the only one who seems to have any sort of, a mental prowess, mental powers.
Do you know where I might be able to find her?
Well, Patrick does. Is he not with you?
He was checking on something, but I'm sure I can ask him. Thank you. I won't take up any more of your time.
Tell Patrick. Okay, well, if you need us, we can give you directions there. But tell Patrick that Jade is now living in the old Helmsworth homestead.
I will let him know. Thank you.
Okay.
Holly. And then,
Yes, Holly.
And then Al will go back up the stairs and try and find Patrick.
Patrick is currently sitting and in deep thought.
Patrick?
You found Patrick, by the way.
Yeah.
Yes.
I figured. Patrick, your parents said that there was a dog boy here named Jade who was sensitive to psychic things.
Ah. Right, Jade, yes.
I was thinking of going and talking to her to see if she heard it too. They said that she now lived at GM something Homestead.
Helmsworth.
Yeah, I was gonna say Hammer, but okay.
Yeah.
Helmsworth Homestead.
Okay, the Helmsworth, yes. Do you want to just go with just me and you, or should you stay and look after Mila?
She's not physically injured. I think she's just shaken up. Nothing I can do, or that she would even let me do.
Should we all go?
I'm all for it if everyone's willing. If nothing else, finding some answers might help Mila be less shaken.
Okay, I'll ask. Patrick will go to Tom. We're gonna go check out another psychically intuned person. Would you want to come?
Sure.
Patrick, go to Mila. Nora?
Yeah.
We're gonna check out another person who's psychically intuned. Would you like to come?
Yeah, let's give it a shot.
Patrick goes outdoor and goes to the helmsman.
Okay. It's about, well, it's kind of hard for a giant scrap heap to have blocks, but it kind of does. It's about 3 blocks away, and the front of it is a very simple, like a steely blue colored door, and there's no doorbell on it, no big ejector button. It just requires a solid knock, and you're required to knock on it about 3 separate times before someone comes to the door. You see, sure enough, an anthropomorphic dog person, a dog boy, for lack of a better word. The breed of the dog is a black lab. She has what appears to be on the inside of her ear an old, worn-out code, which Tom and Al in particular would recognize as a registration code that the Coalition puts on psychic individuals. You notice the same code on the back of the mechanic who helped you out for a little while there, whose name is Max. Who helped you out while you were with the Endless Storytellers, one of Pamel's old friends. Her eyes are a beet red, as if she has just woken up, or if maybe she's intoxicated. But her breath is sweet, and it doesn't have a touch of alcohol on it. And she looks at you blearily. She goes, "Yeah, can I help you?" And her eyes go on Patrick, and she says, "You're the kinsman boy, aren't you?"
Yes, Patrick. And he extends a hand.
Yeah, sorry, we never really truly met. Our circles didn't really close in on each other. How can I help you? What's the matter?
Oh,
What do you need from me?
Okay, may we come in?
She pauses for a moment, and she looks you all over, and she says, "Okay, yeah, I mean, better than you swinging with the scrap, right?" And she kind of gives a bit of a chuckle, and she invites you in. Her abode appears to be only about 2 stories low. You can only see one set of stairs going down to a single story, but she just brings you into the first story, the first level, and she gestures around. You see what appears to be, this also is well lit, and what appears to be an old radio in one corner picking up, that's currently turned off, of what appears to be a computer, like a computer desk, with a portable computer terminal upon it, plus a few seats. And she gestures around. She says, "Sorry, I only have 3 chairs. I don't really expect this much company." And she looks at you expectantly, not repeating her question, but her eyes definitely do wonder what brings you to her home.
This might sound odd, but we were wondering if you may have gotten a message recently.
No, the caravans haven't shown up in about 3 weeks, and there was no mail on it for me.
Oh, and Patrick looks like he wants to say something else, but it's giving a hard time for him to get it out.
Nora kind of glances over and she has this look of maybe this wasn't a good idea.
Al will say, "Well, no, we were actually referring to some people in town were saying that you can be sensitive to psychic messages or things like that."
Her eyes begin to narrow a little bit, and she says, "Yeah, that's true. What is this all about?"
Our friend, and he kind of nods to Nora, she is also sensitive, and a little while ago she received vision or message that was very disturbing and looked as though it was addressed to many people. We were just wondering if anyone else received the same thing.
She looks at you all very carefully for a long period of time, and her eyes finally end on Patrick. She looks at him for the longest before she says, before actually she turns to Nora and says, What exactly did you see?
Nora kind of looks around. I don't know exactly how to put it into words.
So it was images for you too, then?
No. I just started talking.
She finds a chair near. She goes to the chair, a small thing on wheels by the personal computer that she has, and she sits down. She says, I was sitting right here 40 minutes ago. And then, as if a lightning bolt came down in the tip of my head and shot down through my spine, and I got a feeling. I got a very strong feeling. Something big is happening. Something very terrible. And there is this number in my head, this multiple, 7 something. It was muddy and it was unclear, but I got these images racked my head of horrible things, of people dying and people being shipped away, and blue light and madness, and the images left, but I am stuck now with a feeling of dread and a feeling of worry, and I cannot shake it.
Nora will start nodding with the feeling of dread.
It's like something that's planted inside of me now, and it's not something that I can unknow. And the problem is that I don't even know exactly what to make out with something. All I know for sure is the urgency of it. Some of these images feel like they could be very distant, very wistful, but the first one, the brightest image, the clearest image that I got was of a chattering, nattering, consuming mass of things. And I know it's going to happen east of here. I have that in my head. And I know it's going to happen soon. But that's it. The rest, I have to just think upon. But for everything I want to throw out of my head, I can't. It's still laid inside of me. What the hell was this? And she looks right to Nora. I thought I was going crazy.
Nora will close her eyes for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
The first arrives by Cobalt Fire, devouring madness, death, and ire. Castle Green, man machines, allies found in enemies. Every speck must break and rend before the swarm comes to an end. And she'll open her eyes up and shrug.
Jade will kind of bite at her lower lip a little bit, and she says, I didn't see any sort of castles. I didn't see any sort of people working together. But that last part, you're right too. I imagined hundreds of little specks, and they spread out everywhere. And the second one of them found root in something, more specks showed up. And they just kept multiplying. They didn't stop until they consumed everything. She pauses for a long moment, and she says, and hate. It hates us. It hates me for I'm not human. It hates everything. I could feel that too.
Nora frowns.
She says, I dare not tell anyone of this. They think I have a reputation around here, and some people are still a little wary of my psychic abilities, and if I start blathering on that something horrible is going to happen soon, they're going to start looking at everything I do skeptically. You understand? Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. Nora will look to the others. What do we do now?
We don't have enough information to.
Well, what if Tom was right? Castle's green, could it mean Green Castle?
Green Castle is technically to the east of here, if more south than east.
And if everyone's getting different messages, could it be that mine's... I don't know.
We should try contacting Carmel if we can. I mean, well, first, I suppose. I mean, what are we... Al kind of pauses, not quite sure. What are we trying to find out here? Are we trying to find out what this is and where it is to stop it? To help? Or... Al just kind of shrugs.
It's
I don't
another
know.
part that I don't know of, but trying to understand the situation so far is a mixed message throughout. You got it through images, you got it through... You obtain this message through... I'm not even sure. Poetry? Sure, other people have different viewpoints of this, but it might be that who is closest to the areas might actually have a larger image, more understanding of it by past experience. But the Castle's Green Man Machine, that is very, very indicative. Do you remember the large brain?
Yep.
Yeah, I do. Might be worth checking just to see if Green Castle's okay. It'd be a shame to do all that work just to see them.
The problem is we are not near Green Castle.
No, but
Well, we're not near Green Castle. We have no way of really getting there. Like, no mode of transportation. We have no weapons. We have no armor. We have nothing right now.
plus we can't go on a huge grand investigation while our friends are still... Al pauses, catching himself elsewhere.
Clever. Good call.
Nora opens up her mouth to say something. She looks kind of wide-eyed, but she doesn't end up saying anything. She just closes her mouth. I mean, I don't think you understand. Whatever's happening is going to happen soon.
I'll give you a little bit of a qualifier. Soon is unfortunately as specific as you can say, right? You have no idea if it's going to be hours. You have no idea if it's going to be weeks, right? All you know for sure, the only inclination that you can get for sure, and Jade can kind of corroborate, is that it will be in the next half a year, or maybe even sooner than that. So between right now, this very second, and half a year. That's what we mean by soon, quote unquote. Still doesn't give you a lot of answers, I know, right? But soon is such an ambiguous phrase, I just decided as the DM to give you at least some sort of period, right?
Works for me.
Okay, cool.
Well, in any case, this isn't something we're going to figure out here. And he'll turn to Jay and say, "We appreciate you telling us. I understand that could not have been easy."
She says, no, it's not, but I'm kind of glad that you came to see me regardless. Glad to know that I wasn't the only one. She looks over to Nora. There's some comfort in that, I suppose. I guess, she says, and she shakes her head. She rubs her eyes again really hard. You can kind of see, Al, since you have the more medical background, that was probably the symptom of her red eyes, is overstimulation of it.
Al would say, "Are you okay? I am a doctor if you feel you might need."
She laughs and she says, my problem is not with my body.
Understood.
Well, my dear friends, do you think this is a good time to end the session? So you guys can maybe mull over exactly what you want to do or what steps you want to take, if that works.
Yeah, Al would want to do one thing before
Oh,
they
sure.
left, but yeah.
Sure. Yeah, that works.
so-
Okay, well, let's do that one.
Yeah, I guess as we're leaving, like before Al leaves, he would pause and he would turn around and he'd say, "This might not make a lot of sense, but in my past, I looked on dog people differently, and I was wrong. And while I understand that different dog people are different as humans, I feel I should apologize. Your people are not worth the prejudice that is sent against you."
She pauses for a moment and she says, "That's funny. First of all, apology accepted, I suppose. You did nothing to slight me, so I can't take offense. And although I can't speak for everyone who has my same genes, I find it strange. There are a lot of people in this world who would treat you just as poorly." She points to you in your ears and she says, "You're not human either."
Prejudiced. Wait, I'm sorry. I can't think of the word, so I'll just go with this one. Racism, I'm learning, does not care what species you are.
Wish someone would tell the coalition that. She snorts.
Al
Ain't
will
that the damn
nod
truth?
and say, "Well, have a pleasant day."
She gives a bit of a laugh. She says, "Oh yeah, you too. Happy apocalypse."
And with that, Al will leave.
Okay. Ba-dum. So yeah, no, this is where we'll end things. And since the session has formally closed right now, I'm gonna say I'm very, very grateful that Criana did that recitation. I might have made the words, but I asked, because I had this idea a little while back, right? I'm like, would you be up for reciting, what I give you? And Criana's like, yeah, sure, no problem. She's like, you know what? I think I'll do a recording and put some music to it and whatnot. I'm like, oh, that'd be great. And her final result, like I said, I've listened to it now probably about a dozen times. I shit you not. I'll probably listen to another dozen times again so bravo, Criana. That was excellent.
Yes, indeed. Little behind the scenes, Inferno asked me first, but I kept wanting to make it about clowns, so he eventually said no.
You keep saying these things, but that's completely a lie. Mine is 100
None of that
lying
happened.
points.
Nobody
That's
ever
not
asked
true.
me for shit.
That would be hilarious. I was like, Squee,
Oh,
what's my
don't
reading thing?
worry.
Yes, but I want to add clowns in right here.
Yeah, don't get salty because we all know. Seven clowns greet the earth.
That'd be terrifying.
The first is squeaky, fat, and short. He comes from a cart.
Yeah, Inferno. I looked over it, had some rewrites. Take a look at it, see what you think.
Oh god, this is exactly like the fan fiction. Oh god.
This is why we don't. Yeah, this is why we let Squee write the fan fiction.
Oh god,
I
haven't
rate
made one
the
of those.
serious
I need to
stuff.
make a new
Yeah.
one. I haven't made one in a while. She
Yeah, we have
hasn't
lots
met
of
her
ways.
true love yet.
We gotta get Tiny Wrath around here too next time.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Tiny Wrath should read the prophecy.
Oh my god,
Right?
just like the Halloween story.
Oh.
Oh man. All right,
What
well,
were you gonna say? Bro?
everybody on the stream, we've all had a busy day. So,
Mhm.
we're going to say toodles until
Toodles.
Wednesday, where we got 3
Toodles.
galaxies, where our heroes are on a new planet with problems
Yeah.
and excitement and opportunity.
Lots of problems.
More money, more problems.
And Thaladians! Woohoo!
Yeah.
More money, more Thaladians.
All right, bye everyone.